the Legends series. How good was it having Dave Winlow in last episode? I mean, the guy's a true legend. 1,000+ games of umpiring epitomises really what Club 18's all about, and his whole reasons for being in Club 18 were just fantastic to hear. Fantastic feedback as well about that episode. A lot of blokes resonated really well with that, so thanks for all the feedback there. Speaking of legends, we've got the true legend right now. This is the bloke that more people than any other has been asking for. He's the one that they've all said, we want to hear from this bloke. And it's fair enough too, because he was a true legend on the field, absolute star of a player, and probably talked about in the greatest of all time discussions around the Q Paran era. So we're keen to hear about that. Plus, on top of that, he was an absolute legend off the field. He brought a lot of things into this club that really helped the culture in terms of the way the atmosphere that a lot of blokes wanted to play footy in and around. This guy brought it all down to it. So we're going to hear from him. Let's talk to an absolute, genuine superstar of our club, Jason Storer. Welcome to the series, mate.
Thanks, Steaks. Good to be here, mate. It's been a long time coming, but we finally got there.
Oh, that's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It has. You've been at me. We've got there, though, mate. We've got there. Hopefully it's worth it.
Yeah, well, the latest thing I've tried on you was just sending you pictures of Cameron Fry when he's sitting in the car. When he goes, he'll keep calling me and keep calling. That was my last attempt, and somehow I don't know if that's what worked or I don't know what worked, but we're here, mate. I'm happy.
Exactly.
So they've been calling out for you, Jay. So you excited about the chat ahead?
Yeah, I am, mate. Yeah, I am. Like I said, don't build it up too much. I don't want to let it down. Prefer to under-promise and over-deliver, mate, rather than the other way. But we'll see how we go.
I'm sure you'll be fine, mate. I'm sure you'll be fine. So, mate, let's take us right back to the start. How did it start for you? How did you get down to Paran?
Well, let me grab a can first. It'd be a shame to put this in a stubby holder. I don't want to turn too many off either. The Geelong boys might turn off right now, but
well, you've waited for them to get out of the finals too, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put it in the good stubby holder. Mate, it was interesting, similar to how you've been pestering me to get on here. I had I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and where a few of the boys played at Paran, and they used to get at me to come down and play every year. I must admit I wasn't a big fan of the Ammos at the time. I thought it was a bit like netball. The fact they didn't pay you didn't help either. So I just kept putting them off, and then I had some surgery on my ankle one year, and I had to miss a year. So I sort of thought, look, before I go back down and try and play back down in the Geelong League again, I'll come and have a year and get fit with the boys and go and have a run around. And they keep telling me how much fun it is. They keep talking up. So so I thought I'd come down, see what it was like. Have a kick with my mates. It helped that my first game we played in Tigers jumpers for the clash against Mazenod, so that helped. And I was lucky enough also to play my first game with the great Justin Geary, so that also helped. Mate. So look, came down for 1 year. Thought it was going to be 1 year, just get fit, have some fun, get back down to the Geelong League. But with amazing guys, amazing culture, milestone celebrations. All the good things that come with clubbies. 1 year turned into, mate, I don't know how many, but probably somewhere around 15. I don't know what it is, but yeah, a lot. So I never looked back, mate. Enjoyed it, and never wanted to leave.
Yeah. So when you came down in 2002, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that'd be right. Yeah.
I'm back coaching.
Yeah, might have been.
Yeah, I about coached 2002, and I reckon he brought you down that year. Does that sound right?
Might have been. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what year. I thought I can't remember whether I played 01 and missed 02 because of the surgery, or whether I missed 01 and then came down 02. So it would have been 02, 03.
Yeah. Right. And when did you play last game? How many years ago?
Oh, maybe about 3 years ago. The final we lost at Mornington, out of Mornington. Which was Slavo or Gorney coaching them. But yeah, so about 3 years ago, I reckon. About 3 years ago. Yeah.
There you go. That's a decent career. That's a lot of years span.
Yeah, lots of fun, mate. You know, I mean, I've said it to you. I've said it to a lot of people across my time, mate. You're a long time retired. You can play golf for many, many years, but you've only so many years you can play footy. So yeah, so mate, you know, I held on for as long as I could. Probably also chasing that one thing that we never got, mate. Yeah, which probably think about.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of the journey.
Most parts, I reckon.
Yeah, it was part of the journey, mate. We can't deny it. We were close on a few occasions, but anyway, we didn't get there. So you talked about your first game in the Clash jumper and the Richmond jumper. Obviously, it resonated with you because you, as a midfielder, and we'll talk about you as a player shortly, but you come out and kick 7 as a midfielder.
Yeah, mate, just got lucky and one of those days where just kept finding it. And yeah, I mean, it was always going to be hard to leave a club after you kick 7 in your first game. I thought it was, you know, I thought this is fantastic. How good is this? So yeah, look, mate, it was a bit of fun. I still remember though. I just couldn't believe it. So I was having a day out. I can't remember whether I'd kicked maybe my 6th or 5th, and I got dragged. And this was before it was trendy to get dragged after you kick the goal, right? This was, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I get to the bench and I said, it must have been our coach at the time, actually. I said, oh, mate, what are you doing? What are you taking me off for? And he kindly said to me, mate, you were around 50 and you didn't kick a barrel. And I'm like, what do you mean? And that's where I first learned the rule that, yeah, if you're around 50 or anywhere like that, you don't kick a drop punt, you kick a barrel. So that was my introduction to the Club 18 type of culture.
You can be good, but you've got to be good on our terms.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's good stuff, mate. So what sort of player were you, Jace? How would you describe yourself? Who do you resemble in the AFL ranks? Because a lot of blokes will be watching this now who haven't seen you play footy, heard about you. Give them some sort of description.
Oh, mate, I don't know. Look, there'll be, you know, I'll let others judge that. There'll be others that'll be able to tell you better than me who I resemble. But I mean, I'm not a complex guy, mate. I'm a bit of a simpleton. So for me, it's really, you know, it was really just about see ball, get ball, right? And you know, not waiting for anyone else to get it out to me. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, if you sort of who do I resemble, you'd have to sort of pick someone in the AFL that had the smallest neck, someone that looked like Gladstone Small or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know, mate, maybe, you know, maybe a Ben Cunnington or someone like that, you know, just someone that just hunts and wants the footy, mate. You know, maybe not the smoothest, sharpest bloke getting around, but skill-wise, but, yeah, just get in and get it, mate.
Funny, isn't it? Because I actually got a couple of blokes here I'll pick up, but Cunnington to me, yeah, you had to go and get ball and just win, get the hard ball. But beyond that, you had the speed and the silk beyond it. So I had sort of a Delidio, Nigel Lappin piece where you got the ball because you just carried and took the ball distances, like 3 bounces plus long kick, about 100-metre player every time you get the ball. So, but you did have the hardness as well. So it wasn't describing you as an outside player by any means.
Yeah. No, very kind. Yeah, yeah. Very kind, mate.
So let's hop into some of your favourite memories as a player, Jace. What jumps out when you tell your other mates and say, well, this is the stuff that I remember?
Yeah, mate, gee whiz. So many. Over that period of time, there are just so many memories, mate. I think, yeah, look, the great players that we played with, right? Like, I was lucky enough across that time, like, to play with a lot of really good players. And it's interesting, you know, you talk about culture of Club 18 and, you know, we only train once a week and the boys go out on Friday night and, you know, so everyone sort of thinks it's a bit of shits and giggles, right? But, you know, we played with some really, really good players. So, you know, so a lot of great memories. I sort of probably, you know, the one you tell all your mates about is the first time you sing the team song or hear the team song is just phenomenal, right? It's just a crack up. And, you know, it's great for all the new players to come down. I see the videos and they're holding the sheets and I'm just like, is that really? Did I just hear that for real? So, mate, I mean, that just again draws you into knowing this is the sort of club and people you want to be around. So the first time you hear the song, you know, the milestone celebrations, mate, they're always celebrated in style one way or another, but, you know, they're always a bit of fun. You know, even the time you play Scotch for the first time, you have you line up and the boys tell you got to have a shot of Scotch before you go out.
Awesome.
It's quite different. And, you know, mate, but I think sort of other things. I mean, the day we coaxed Butsy out of retirement, he'd sort of get away for a little bit. And we coaxed him out of retirement. We were being in a supermarket, trying to say, mate, come on, come down. You'll be right. You know, you'll love it. And I think we just fed him all day to make sure he'd come back the next week. And I can't remember, he kicked somewhere between 12 and 15. I can't remember what it was, but
16 goals 3, 16 3.
Goals 3, mate. We had this plan to feed him, right? If he loves it and he kicks enough this week, he'll definitely come back again next week, right? So, that was just phenomenal, right? That was a great day. The day that Guru buddy missed the goal from the goal line. Who missed a goal from the goal line and then kicked it at right angles and went and marked his own ball out of bounds on the ball and tried to claim it as a mark and have another shot.
Can I stop you there, Jay? So that story about Guru. So Mark Howard, for anyone who's watching, he's done this. It's really, I find that goal really hard, missed goal, really hard to describe to people that actually happened the way it happened. Do you have the same trouble?
Yeah, I do. You sort of like, how do you miss a goal from a goal line? He's obviously just trying not to put his foot over the line. He's watching enough footy to go, I don't want to be a point, but the kicking at right angles, which is phenomenal.
That way.
You wouldn't believe it. I think someone, I can't even remember, but I think someone was saying that and we only went down by about 3 points or something like that.
Yeah, that would have won us the game. I was coaching. We would have won us the game. We finally got in front, and then they went the other end, kicked the goal, siren went. Yeah,
phenomenal. Interesting, and on that ground, that ground at St Kevin's, right, holds a lot of memories. Like, the day that buddy Justin Geary tried to double, the studs up flying, buddy, two-legged kick to take that bloke down like he was on the soccer field because he got past him and Gears was the last line of defence. So I was runner that day and I wore water myself. Mate, I couldn't believe what I'd seen. I thought he would have got a year, but he missed a bloke and all was good. And but the day Jimmy Zizi just lost it out at Ivanhoe and kicked the buddy. And I don't know, it wasn't Dave Winlow's son, was it? It was Bounty. I don't know who it was, but he kicked the ball out in Forest. Just wasn't happy that he called it out of bounds, but he kicks the ball out in Forest.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing scene. So, there's some of the things as a player. But then, even just having the pleasure of listening to Bergs and Faz and their knowledge and understanding of the game, was phenomenal. What we talk about Faz, his ability to take so many marks without leaving the ground is just, credit to him, right? But, phenomenal. But then also getting to see some of the new players towards the end there, whether, Jimmy and AJ and, getting to play with some of those new blokes as they were coming through was, it was a pleasure as well. So, mate, lots of good memories. But like I said at the start, just unfortunately, it's probably only one memory that, I wish we had. And, we have a lot of good times where we're a good bond and, got a great bunch of blokes, but still nothing bonds you more like a premiership, right? So, just one of those things that, unfortunately, that's not a memory we have.
It's just part of our story, as we said, sadly. Anyway, so you had a few League B&Fs in there, Jace. How many League B&Fs?
3. Three leagues.
Club? Yeah. Club B&F?
4 clubs. 4 clubs. And I know that I cop a bit of stick about whether or not I used to, be really kind to the umpires and whether that helped me get 3 League B&Fs. But I always fall back on the fact that if I never won a League B&F without winning a Club B&F, that would have been embarrassing. So hopefully it was more than just the sweet talk from the umpires.
Well, you told me you hadn't come across Dave Winlow's episode yet, which you will. You told me you will. But he confirmed in that episode that the post-match chats in the rooms did help.
Yeah, gotcha. There you go.
So you just need someone. Who do I give that to? Oh, thanks, Jason. You're very thanks for the kind words. And here's a vote or 3 votes in return.
I'll tell you what, though, I must admit, I was a fair way in the queue. It was a fair queue up. There were plenty of others who could shake his hand and tell him how good a job he did as well. So I think that was the benefit of having a bit of speed, was trying to get there first. True that.
So it was a good routine you had. So, but speaking of routines, you had a lot of pre-game superstitions from memory, did you?
Yeah, very, very superstitious, mate. Very superstitious. So, in terms of even from shaving the ankles, what time of night I'd shave the ankles, which one first, left before right, always after midnight. Same pair of Speedos every week. And So, I was a superstitious person. But I don't know. I still am. But yeah, it did. It was tiresome. A lot of people, including my wife, used to laugh a lot at me for it.
Yeah, and you had the tape, didn't it? The tape joining you through here as well.
I did, yeah. So I got bad thumb. So it was something that sort of always intrigued people. Was I used to tape both thumbs. But it was something I saw a guy showed me when I played down Geelong in the Geelong League. He put a bit of tape between here and here, and it was just basically to stop your thumb from being able to pull back. But of course, I never thought anything of it, and people used to go, "What, you're cheating? You got webbing on your fingers to help with the marking." Interesting. I mean, I wasn't a great marker, so I'm not quite sure it helped me that much, but. Yeah, the webbing, and so I used to tape the thumbs, both used to tape my ankles like they were bloody plaster casts after breaking them too many times. And I guess the only other thing that used to happen every game that a lot of people used to find quite amusing was I would throw up before every game and at halftime or quarter time.
I didn't know it was through the breaks as well. I knew pre-game you had an issue, but I didn't know it was during the breaks.
Yeah, usually pre-game and quarter time, but then sometimes halftime. Yeah, body just didn't like cooling down, and it was just just the water that you drank in the first quarter basically. But yeah, I mean, it used to be a bit of a shock. I'd be walking away from the huddle and people would be trying to talk to me, and I'd be pushing away, going, "Just give me a second, because you don't necessarily need to see this."
And so many people are spewed in this team, but your reason's just slightly different.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. That's exactly right.
So tell me about some of the standout players, mate. You've talked about a few blokes on the way through, but some of the standout players that you've played with over time.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, lots, and it's interesting when this thing started, it sort of had me thinking, and I started putting a bit of a team together of, sort of in order of some of the best players that I've played with. But, I mean, so many, like, Evie, Greeny, Luke Kitchen, Muzza, even the Goinies, I mean, yourself, Deeks, Rhino, I mean, I even put a Blakey in those teams. Siebes, I mean, Siebes is phenomenal. Killer, great football. Some of the blokes, I had Mordo, Killer, and Jeff Scott, in there as well. Still playing the game as well. But I think for me, probably three that stand out. I mean, Cougar's ability to mark the footy and nearly squash it, every time he marked it, and have such a bad kicking style but kick so straight was just phenomenal, right? He can play full forward on any side. I mean, he's phenomenal. But I reckon the two that probably stand out, and I'll still probably put one ahead of the other, Butsy. So Gary, I mean, his ability to hit a marking contest and a pack and come out with a footy was like no one else I'd seen. Like, he would play in the best sides I've ever played in, and played centre forward in any of those sides. Like, he's phenomenal. Really, really impressed with him. But then, then there's one guy probably just pips him, and it's Bergs. I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, his knowledge of the game, his skills, his awareness. I just love the way he wants to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and he can turn the game just by himself, right off his own boot. So I mean, they're the sort of three that probably stand out. Like I said, I mean, there's Evie and blokes like that are just superstar players, right? But so Bergs is probably the best that I've played with in that time.
And he's effortless. Bergs, like just the way you just sort of notice him. He just, by the time you have a look, you go, mate, he's just had 20 touches in the first half, kick through, and just hasn't looked like he's troubled anyone. And he without hardly any sweat on his brow, and off he goes, and he's genius.
Yeah, mate, and he's tough and hard when he, especially when he really needs to be as well. But his ability to be the buddiest day in the world, right? And he can kick 10 and not get his white shorts dirty at all, right? Like, so, he's just got a great ability.
So not many people would probably. I'm glad you called out the hardness in him too, because he doesn't sound like that hard a sort of guy as a person. But the what stuck out for me was his 2007 grand final. Played it with a broken arm. Still best player for us. And he had a busted arm, like he broke it the week or two before, and in a sort of cast, and still got best on ground.
Yeah, mate, phenomenal. But also, for me, and I love this stuff, right? I love the hardness. That's why I played footy for so long, mate. You can play tennis, basketball, you can get competitiveness from other sports, but that willingness to just, that need to just will yourself to hit that contest harder than the other bloke is just something you can't get in any other sport. Rugby or whatever, but not here, right? That I love and play. But I mean, I think the thing with Bergs too is, mate, because he's so skillful, he didn't need to bloody hit the content. Like he didn't need to always be just showing his toughness and strength, right? But like I said, I noticed it, mate, when he needed to or when it had to be, mate, he could go as hard and he could cop wax around the ears as hard as anyone else. He played a lot of footy and grew up copping them bloody every week because he was so good. So, he's definitely tougher than a lot of people realise or give him credit for, I reckon.
Yeah, it's right. It's right. Because of that sort of prettiness about him. He sort of doesn't sort of come across that way.
Yeah, I mean, Butsy's same, right? Butsy, he'd dislocate his shoulder and I'd be standing up, come on, mate, get up, you'll be right. And he would, he'd just get up, mate, as if it was, I know it pops out when he sneezes, but, he's tough as well.
Yeah, and the funny fact with Butsy, that the day he kicked the 16 goals, he started off the field and ended off the field. He actually didn't play a full game because he was trying to tape his shoulder. Yeah. And then finally got on around about late in the first quarter. And then his last goal, he kicked it with a dislocated shoulder to get the 16 goals. So,
yeah, I remember he was on the ground. I was standing next to him. I said, mate, come on, get up. You'll be right. Realising what he'd done, but just trying to coach him. Yeah, he kicked it. No drama.
We're only 210 points up at the time. I don't think he needed it.
Exactly.
We actually probably were because we did kick around that score that day. And it must have been a milestone game, that one as well, for whatever reason, but from memory. So you brought a few people down to the club over time. So I remember your brother Mark came down to the club as well. And he's good. Like, you're from Swan Hill, Jay, so obviously he is too. And he was a tough Swan Hill boy, tough as nails. Good player, your brother. Yeah. Where am I going with this story?
Yeah, he's... Man, when you want to talk about hardness, right, I haven't seen too many tougher and, willing to put their head over the footy than him either. He's a very, very hard man and very, very good footballer. Didn't necessarily have the speed, but had he's a great footballer. But yeah, he sort of, he let the story hang out a little bit one night, first night with training, and went back to the Orong and for a meal, and everyone's ordering their meals, and Mark's he's a country lad, and even more country than me, and tradie, and brought up around tradies and stuff, and his good wife, she's a little bit more cultured, and brought him to Melbourne and sort of just make him a bit more cultured, but I think he went a little bit too far when he ordered the prawn cocktail at the hotel for dinner. And out it come with little prawns over the side, and everyone's ordering their palmers and steaks and stuff, and he's got his prawn cocktail in front of him. So yeah, it was a little bit amusing. I sort of just had a quick word to him afterwards, but he's older than me, so he wasn't going to listen to me anyway.
It was just funny because that pub only really needed to have 2 items on the menu on a Wednesday night. Palmer steak. That's all it was. Well, if you want a pepper sauce, that's the only other thing that we had the variation on that. But a prawn cocktail, I didn't even know it was on the menu until he ordered it.
Yes, that's right.
And then you brought another bloke down.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I thought that's where you were going to go. Johnny Gourmet. Formerly now known as Johnny Gourmet. So I don't know with the blokes I brought down. The other night he came along and ordered soup. Yeah, ordered soup. Again, everyone's ordering their steak and chips and Palmer's chips and salad, or if you don't like the salad, just go chips only. They never give you any more chips, unfortunately. But Johnny Gourmet decided he'd order soup with his little bun, bread and roll.
Yeah, enigmatic. I don't know how many games he would have played. Whether he played 10 games, but he racked up a few stories on the way through, didn't he? Like, he also celebrated his own milestone debut.
That he did, yeah.
That's what he did, and that's what we'll say.
Yeah, and he had a good time when we had our footy trip back in his hometown of Tassie as well, home country of Tassie as well. So, yeah, good man, John Gourmet.
Yeah, very good man. Enigmatic, I think it's not a bad word for him, to be honest. I reckon he got a lot of character.
Yeah.
So anyone who's been around our club for a long time, Jace, generally got the honour or the obligation, probably more so, of having to coach the club. How did you get out of that?
Yeah, I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. Maybe no, I don't know. Maybe I just threatened that I wouldn't play if I had a coach, or no, I don't know. I don't know, mate. But having said that, I've sort of always probably thought that, you know, I know how to find the footy, but I don't necessarily know how to coach and teach others to find the footy. But yeah, I don't know. I was lucky enough to get away with it, and plenty of guys, thankfully, like Faz and Bergs and yourself and Ivy, and even sort of Gorney and Slavo, and I think I said Faz, but even Gorney and Slavo, right before their time was probably due, put their hand up, and yeah, so I was lucky enough to get away with it, mate. I just needed.
I don't know how you did, because you would have been a good coach, because your knowledge of the game and how to position people and play and how the game rolls is quite strong. So I'm sure you would have been a good coach, but I'm just not sure. It never seemed to come up that you were going to do it.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I was lucky. I was very lucky, mate. So yeah, because it's a tough gig. I mean, right? And all the boys that have done it know. But I mean, there are even some of the things too, right? Like with Gorney, and when you think about it, I mean, you've been around footy a long time. You're a very successful sort of guy. You know how to motivate people. Same with Bergs and those sort of blokes. But for Gorney and Slavo to sort of take on the coaching role and watching them grow in those roles as coaches and even as people, right? They're, coming out of their shell and sort of really just motivating and getting people on the pitch and over the line is just fantastic to see as well, right? So, other great things that have sort of come out of it through my time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that struck me only earlier. I just thought, I don't know how you never coach. Anyway, that was good. But it's true. That's good. And I think it's been a good journey for a lot of blokes to get that chance, because people have got to, in a small club, take on the role of different things within a place and go, right, even if you're a key position and you don't really think you are, well, you're there and you can flourish, or if you've got to take on coaching, it gives you opportunities for lots of things like that, doesn't it, this team?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. When you joined the club, Jace, you brought straight in a whole range of fundraising initiatives that really sort of set the scene and filled up the footy trip coffers really well. Take us someone through these in detail.
Yeah, they did. I mean, and that's not, that's not the intent just for the footy trip. It's more around how you sort of bond the blokes and get them together. And I can't take credit, mate. I bought this from a side I played footy with, one of the guys down there. But yeah, the corks, introducing the corks to the club, whereby, basically every year I'd go and buy a different cork so blokes couldn't use their one from the year before. But you get your cork and you get your number on it. You get your cork and you'd have to carry your cork around with you anywhere, right? So if any of the other boys that played in the team ask you for your cork and you don't have it, then it's $1 fine. And, you could only be fined a maximum of $5 a day. And the only time you didn't need to have it on you was when you were stripped for training or stripped for game day. Otherwise, any other time sleeping, no doubt getting to sleep story when you're on the job or, in the shower or wherever, then you have to have it with you. So, yeah, I mean, it was fantastic, right? There's nothing more embarrassing when you're in a suit walking down the street of Melbourne, right, and you're with clients, and someone comes up to you and says, "You've got your cork," and you've got to reach into your pocket and pull out your cork, and you've got people looking at you going, "What the bloody hell's going on here?" So, yeah, but it was great, right? It was just something that I loved and looked forward to. And like you said, it raised lots of money for the footy trip, but that wasn't what it was about. It was about, when we'd get 5 blokes together on a Tuesday night, or, and start driving around to people's houses and knocking on their doors, and no doubt we'll get into a couple of stories about those, but knocking on people's doors, just making a night of it, right? We'd be out there for 3 or 4 hours, bloody collecting money and funds but having a ball of the time, and every time we went to someone's place, they loved it, and so lots of fun, mate. Yeah, lots of fun. It was something, like I said, it was something that really enjoyed, and no doubt anyone that wanted to pick it up still again would have lots of fun with it.
Oh, sure they do. And it's funny because, as you said, if one person catches you walking down Collins Street and someone's there and it's 2 blokes are standing there just trying to look at each other going, please don't ask me, like they're standing, they're not listening to each other because they're so frightened they're going to get asked for their cork, which if they got caught, it's worth $1 to them. But the pain and the anguish of getting done for not having your cork was huge.
Yeah, no, for sure, mate, for sure. And I had my physio. Used to, when I go to the physio, I'd have to leave my socks on, so I could tuck my cork in my socks. And and he sort of then, he was with one of the AFL clubs, so he sort of got it right. But because the boys were trying to ring up and get my physio appointments to try and come in and get me with my cork while at the physio, like. Yeah, but it was, mate, it was great fun. Like,
Oh, it's awesome.
Some of the stories, but yeah, lots of fun.
Did you ever get caught?
No, never got caught. And I mean, I had those terrible bloody PJs with a pocket in it, so I could sleep with it. I used to shower with a stubby holder, shower with a stubby holder so that I could put it in just because, blokes would come into your place. Like, I mean, we went on trips and caught blokes on the jobs, and the shock to their partners was, hold on, what's going on here? Or, the time we turned up to someone's place and we living with their parents and we knocked on the door and, all of a sudden this player coming out of the toilet all sweating, like they either had flustered and they either had really bad constipation or just had a day.
It's not what it's not the sight you expect to see after you've just after you've read a magazine, is it?
No, it isn't, mate. It isn't. So, yeah, lots and lots of great stories. It was good, and the fact that it would fill up the footy trip coffers was just an added bonus, really.
Yeah, it's right. It's right, and it was a dedicated scheme you put together. So make sure you bought ones that didn't have holes in them, and if people try to fudge you and bring different corks with different numbers, mate, that was a big no-no. You're all over them all the way through.
Yeah, so that's it. If you try to bring a different, so there'd be a distinct marking. If you had a different cork, that'd be a $10 fine, right? So you'd run the risk. But like you said, people would still do it because it wasn't the fine; it was just the getting caught without it was the painful thing. So, we'll change it, recycle a different logo, or put a different logo on each year, and yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah. So, and to explain that further, so the stubby holder shower thing, right? That's what you're thinking. People probably in their minds going, "Oh, you must be doing that after the footy match." But your Tuesday morning before you're going to work at home with Mel, this is what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's not after footy training. That is, because it was my thing, right? It was my thing, and when it's your thing, you take a lot of pride that you don't want to get caught. And, after a few years and you haven't been caught, then you've got everyone out to get you. So, I had people trying to, sort of coax my wife into sort of, letting them into their house, and so it just wasn't, it was something that, what it matter if no one knew that I was showering with a stubby holder on. So, yeah, it was just a way to make sure I had it on just in case the boys came in, got to my missus and got in. I'd definitely have it on me. I wouldn't have to pay.
Yeah, well, I'd hate to. I'm wondering whether you would have got married if Mel had enacted a scheme that actually meant that you got caught out. I reckon it would have been terminal.
It might have been over. Yeah, it might have been over. That's exactly right.
I know how serious you took it. So speaking of schemes and all these sort of things, you and I, along with Scotty Hayward, were victims of the first famous blue food dye gag up in Byron Bay. It was a disappointing night. So what it was for anyone who's watching, so you're drinking a stubby of beer on that occasion, Butsy, the smartest man in the world, managed to buy some Crown Lagers, put a little bit of blue food dye that usually made your cake icing with, chuck that in there, bang, blue mouths. And I think I'll try and get Giz to chuck the photo in there as well for this. But that was the thing. Now, it's fair to say that you took to that gag more than anyone else, I would have thought.
Oh, it was I couldn't believe it. Like, mate, Butsy, God love him, fantastic, not considered the sharpest bloke of the footy club, and just stitched us up an absolute ripper. He has brought one of the best visual gags to the club that I've ever seen. And you're right. I just ran with it as much as I could, mate, because this was, it was fantastic. It's still the greatest visual gag, and that you'll get going around, I reckon. So so we tried to run with it as much as we could. And
so it became rampant. Like, so to explain to everyone else, with their whole life up to that point, not checking a beer, not looking inside, not putting your finger in it to make sure it's not dyed. So you live that way, so it's hard to get used to it. But we're trying to understand and experiment. Is it true that you tried to put blue food dye in your wife's cup of tea one day?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was all again talking about not the sharpest blokes in the room. Sharpest tool in the tool shed, but yeah, I'd had a few, and you're right. I was keen. Mate, I was up and about because I just stitched up two blokes, and worded both of them up that I'm going to get him. So if he's just don't say anything. If you see it, like just play along. And I've told the other one the same thing. They just thought that each of them individually had been done, not each other. So I was up and about. I got these two blokes. They had no idea what was going on, and then the girls were sitting there, and they'd stopped drinking. They were, so we offered them a cup of tea. Don't know why I thought I was going to pour it into a cup of tea, but pretty similar to when Butchie first tried to get us and Byron Bay and poured it into a pot of beer, and it just turned blue straight away. Yeah, that didn't work.
It was a good attempt, but fair to say you got revenge on Butchie though. What is his 50th or 100th? He had a milestone game for some reason, but
it might be 150. I don't know if it's
some beats or something. Out some beats Mentone, I reckon.
Yeah, or who were the blue and yellow? Early Park or something, was it? What's there? Eli Park or somewhere? Yeah, but anyway, I reckon it was his 150th or something, I reckon. And yeah, we put it in one of the water bottles, and anyway, because it was his milestone game, we sort of got him to do the 3/4 time speech, and anyway, we've given him a drink. He's had a drink, and then we're going, what are we, Butchie, with the two blues? What colour are we, Butchie, with two blues? We had no idea. Mouth is blue, and it wasn't until he went back out with his stood next to the full back or centre half back, and he said, "Mate, what's going on with your mouth?" And he's a shattered man. He's a shattered man. Yes.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it's good fun bringing back all those memories. That was a culture. Hardness on the field. Like, we were all over on the field. We wanted to win and have fun, but the fun off the field was just remarkable, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, just really good things. It just culturally just embedded, so then it became, it was the call. So then it was, you didn't want to get done by the blue food dye, and it's just those things. And like you said, though, we were, when we stepped over the line, we were there to win, right? We were dead set serious and wanted to win, but the reason we had such a good club and we're successful without winning a flag was because of the culture we could build off the footy field as well, I reckon.
Yeah, so touching on that, where the you said that we were trying to win, the standard of the clubbies got really strong. Like towards that 06 grand final, which we were up and we lost in the end. Dave Winlow referenced it in his interview as well, that the standard got so good, that's actually what probably caused the disbanding of Clubadine footy. In the end, they said, these guys are too good for here. They should be elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, mate. Like, we had blokes who played VFL footy and, AFL reserves or whatever, you had blokes from the Crocs that had played A-grade footy and, it was good. It was good. It was good standard, good footy, good fun footy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's really good quality. Now, is it true you're considering a comeback?
Oh, mate, interesting. Donna, if you're watching, I was a bit disappointed you left me off the list for the last game. I didn't think I'd have to, I didn't want to have to only reach out to you and ask myself. I thought I'd given you the leeway. I thought I was going to make the list, and I didn't make the cut. Clearly, I've got too old and too slow. Look, mate, I don't know. I miss it. I miss it dreadfully. We've had this conversation. I haven't thrown the mouth guard out yet, but no, I don't think so, mate. I think I'm done, but yeah, we went to the past players game and at 3/4 time, you sort of think that you still got it and could have run on. So, no, I don't know. And I see what Mordo's got with his kids, I guess, and, them being able to watch an old man play and run water and run the boundary and stuff like that. And I've got two boys, so, every now and again, I think I'd love to see that. But, I played 2 games of muck around footy with my kids and their mates and could hardly walk for a day, with the knees and stuff. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, mate.
That's all right, mate. But the pain's always after every game, but it's the thrill of them watching, see you come out in the 2 blue jumper, mate. It'd be a big thrill for the boys.
Yeah, well, I haven't had my one glory year, one glory game in the forward pocket yet. So you never know, mate. You never know.
It's it. Clear the forward line. I don't think you need to expect too many drop punts coming at you like this. It's sort of a few rugby style balls coming in.
That's right.
That's all right. But anyway, look, that's there. But I can't believe the current coach, Donna, didn't actually like that. You were pretty clear. And he should have just gone bang, straight in the phone, get him in that week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like going to the pub, Ellen McPherson's tapping on the shoulder. Hey, should we go and hang out? You got Jason Storr, the greatest of all time. Want to play on your team.
But having said that, I hadn't done enough running between when I said I might have played in the last game, so I'm not quite sure. I might have had to find a plausible excuse.
Not sure it matters, Jace, to me, to be honest. You only go in the forward pocket. And you've seen, as you said, you've seen Luke Farrell play that role before without him to jump, so...
That's exactly right. Yeah, maybe you're right. There's hope for us all.
So, Jace, you've got a massive honour that your face was the face of 700,000 VB beer boxes around the country. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, well, they definitely weren't going to put my head on a Crown Lager or an imported box, mate. So VB is probably fitting, and there's nothing wrong with VB beer, by the way. But yeah, I've got a head, I've got a head like half-suck twisty, you know that. So yeah, I was quite surprised, mate. We were just lucky enough that, you know, we've spoken about some of the boys at the club. They're pretty well connected. Anyway, one of the boys is obviously marketing manager at CUB, and got the boys down, and I was just lucky enough that I had a head like a bloke from 1950s or whatever that didn't have all those years ago for VB, and so they stuck me on it. There were also a couple of other guys. So there's also Cougs.
Cougs is there.
Cougs is
nice
there.
Hair.
There was also
There's another bloke. Let me show you who the other bloke was.
Yeah, good-looking self. Was there as well, and obviously there were some blokes who just couldn't cut the mustard who were on the sidelines. But you're right, I still remember walking in when they were first released. You know, let me embellish here and tell a story, but I remember when they were first released, and I was lucky enough to be heading down to the peninsula with you on might have been like an Easter weekend or some sort of long weekend. And it was a 30-pack, and we're in the car on the way down, the girls are driving, we pulled in the bottle shop and thought, oh, geez, hold on, we'll go in here and we'll see if they've got the slab. And we walk in, and there we were, and we said to the bloke at the counter, you know, oh, mate, have you got one of those 30-packs? Anyway, I mean, I was excited, but, you know, I had my face on there, gee, you were super excited. You were really, really good. Anyway, and he said, oh, yeah, I think so, mate, I think so. Anyway, he went out the back with his wife, he got the pack, and he come back, and he was really excited. And he's like, hey, mate. He's looked at me. He's looked at the box. He's looked at me. He goes, mate, is that you on the box? And I said, yeah, it is, mate. That's right. Lucky enough. Anyway, there was your good self patting the back of your head, because you only had the back of your head. You weren't quite good enough looking to get the front. There you were patting the back of your head, thinking, hey, mate, what about me? The bloke goes, oh, mate. And he pointed to the bloke who had his back of his head on the box. He said, mate, yes, that could be anyone. Oh, the way that he deflated you was just...
Ever heard the sound of a balloon deflating? I think that was a noise.
It was. I've never felt you so much that day, buddy.
Oh, it's an amazing thing, wasn't it? Like, I mean, that 700,000, I think they sold out pretty quick. I mean, obviously you've got a face like a bloke who has a hard-earned thirst, maybe. That's what was...
I do, mate. I do. I had a sign box. Over in Tassie in the bottle shop one day. Yeah. So yeah, mate. Just it was something that was very, very unexpected with a head like this. But another great memory.
But that was the thing. The thing of the clubbies, we sort of batted above our averages in terms of our standing in the whole league comp. Like was sort of down here. But we'd had plenty of media. There'd be stuff going on everywhere around our club. We'd be on the radio with all sorts of stuff going on around our team. Front page of paper, that was probably a good one.
We had blokes on, yeah, not a long time good media, but we had blokes appear on Channel 7 news. So, yeah, we did about well above our average on many occasions with things like that. So, yeah, lots of fun that was, mate. It was a good afternoon, and lots of good memories from it.
Yeah, good on us. So what else have we missed, Jace?
No, I don't know, mate. I mean, we talk about the culture, the town hall Wednesday nights, you know, jackpot joker after training was fantastic. Beer and bingo. I thought you were going to go there with
Yeah, it should have actually. Beer should have gone there.
Beer and bingo. I mean, that was fantastic. We had heads and tails. We had heads and tails, and we mentioned Jimmy's easy before, but he was the easiest one. The area of the silverback gorilla was pretty easy to know whose head fitted which bum in those photos. But no, I don't think so, mate. Like I said, just obviously the effort that all the coaches put in over the time, the great players we played with, we've spoken about. I mean, the supporters, like Killer's mum coming to every game, blokes like Killer, their generosity of the club and what they put in, and still running around. But no, I think we've covered most of it, mate.
Yeah, good. But it probably on beer and bingo though. So that was a good fun night. That was just a big, because we had some really good fundraisers going on. The blokes bring the girls down, and we just had big pumping nights down at the Turnal. That was great fun evenings. You and I ran the beer and bingo. And then I might have read out 26, jumping Jeff, something like that. You got number 88. What was that? What was the description for 88?
Oh, mate, you might have grown up around bingo being only Melbourne boy. Us country boys didn't play bingo too much, mate. So I thought it was 4 fat ladies. Unfortunately, it was only 2 fat ladies. So that got a good laugh. I just assumed it was an aerial view, 4 fat ladies. But yeah, I didn't live that one down for a long time. Like I said, I'm not the sharpest bloke around either, mate. So, but you're right. I mean, the nights with that, most of us all, not most of us had partners, all of us had partners or whatever, but, the nights, and even, but bringing the girls along, the nights that we had collectively, not just as the boys, but with the partners and with, their friends for the single blokes was just, mate, they were rippers. Like, we would pack that joint out and everyone, it was rocking. It was, everyone had a great time.
Yeah, it was pumping. And there was one time Sammy Mendelsohn brought down a young lady, and she'd actually dated Jacques Villeneuve or something. She'd been around the Formula One circuit or something like that, and it was everyone's going, oh my God, I can't sit in the same room as this woman. She's just remarkable. And so no bloke could speak that night. So none of the single blokes could go near her.
Mate, she would have been lucky with the talent and the calibre we had in the room. She would have been very lucky.
Just unlucky for her that Bergs wasn't part of the team probably at that stage, because although he might have ended up going for coffee with him soon after and got the bad news.
That's it.
Good stuff, mate. So the boys are still playing. It's good to see that obviously Donna's got the team back up this year and running, and I haven't actually followed. I'm sure they're probably done by now, but what's the message you give to those guys for coming back next year and staying involved?
No, I think they had their last game last week. I mean, mate, it was great. We went to the past players the other day, and for blokes, for a bloke like Dono who's been at the club, for not that many years, to step up, to put his hand up, to realise how good a thing it is to enable, guys and their mates to come along and play with their best friends, right, and have an enjoyable time. So for him and Stewie to sort of keep that running is just fantastic. And so for me, they all know how much fun it is to be able to play with your mates. We just need people to keep stepping up and driving that culture and continuing on that culture. So, they don't need us to tell them how to have fun and how important it is to have as bigger bond off the field, and that'll create the bond on the field. But, it really does. Anything that they can do to do something different and create that bond will just help them have success on the field. But just keep it alive would be phenomenal, because there's a lot of blokes out there that can play footy and just want to play footy with their mates, and it's a great environment to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's probably something they don't realise on the back of it. So you get yourself immersed in the games you're playing and the season you're playing, but those mateships do stay with you forever, don't they? Like here we are chatting years after we've played our last game together. Yeah,
they definitely do, mate. Yeah, they definitely do. And you have, like I said, I could talk for hours about the memories we have and the good times, and like you said, it's still just those mateships that and relationships that continue on well past footy is really good and really special. So create that environment, and so the guys who step up. So if it's not Dono's turn or Stu's turn next year, then just encourage someone else to step into it, because you need to you can keep creating that environment for people to have that good fun and build those relationships for
Yeah, and as you said, bring your mates in as well, because that's the important thing. So you did the right thing. You obviously, we talked about Gourmet and we talked about your brother, but there's also Cal, there's Hendo, there's all those sort of guys as well. And beyond that came as a result of your connection.
Yeah, that's right. But and then Ivac and that brought myself down, and so you're right. I mean, you just got to keep bringing your mates in, And Kill's been good. He's brought plenty in, and we've had Chad Jackson and Kips and those blokes come in, and there'll be blokes from all different walks of life, right? Which is just, and that's the other good thing is that you're just playing footy with blokes from all different walks of life. We had Rennie, Banana Boy come in and play my footy, just loved it, just had so much fun, So, and seeing seeing those guys grow and develop. So, keep bringing your mates down, tell them how much fun it is, keep creating that environment, and people just keep coming back. Like I said, I was realistically only going to come for 1 year. I stayed for 15 years and loved every minute of it.
Yeah. You thought about the lost wages you could have got over time, or the player payments you could have got?
No, mate, no. It's no, they say money doesn't buy happiness, mate. But no. Mate, I had plenty of good times, mate, and plenty of good times. So it's and plays with footy and just puts out a premiership, like I said. I don't want to keep up on there, but no, mate. That's it's I don't think about what I didn't get, because what I got was just a lot of good times and still good footy and a lot of good mates. So no, I never think about that, mate.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a good point, because we could have got a premiership, or we could have gone to any other club and got a premiership and gone, we didn't really love the guys, but we won a premiership, tick. But what we've got, as you said, 15 years of solid relationships, great fun memories, just awesome times. The footy was just different around the clubbies than I think anywhere else it could have been. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because it's a type of environment that I could have once the guys I started with and were playing with in the early days, such as yourself. Once all those guys left, I still didn't want to leave. It wasn't if the new blokes coming in and the culture was just as good, right? So that's the beauty of it, because a lot of blokes go, now my mates that I started with aren't playing, they'll leave. But we're lucky enough to just have that recycle and bringing good blokes in, that it made me want to continue to play. I enjoyed playing with, the guys at the end as much as I did as the guys at the start, which is, a true credit to the club.
Yeah, and on the back of that, so that's the DNA. It started from Marty Varner back in 82, 83 sort of era. That's the line that's always gone right through everything in this whole team on the way through. So you're right, people come and go, but everyone knows that that's the thing that holds there's a little band that gets everyone together on the way through, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. Good
stuff, mate. Well, Jason, we'll wrap it up here. So, mate, you've been a super fun bloke to play footy with. Super awesome to watch you play footy for one, but to have you around the club, on field, off field, mate, you added so much to what Paran Footy Club has been over time and what it still stands for today, mate. So when people walk in the room, mate, there's still parts of you around that club now that they enjoy. So, mate, you've done a lot for this club over time, and everyone who's played footy with you and who's playing footy now is better for you being part of the club. So thanks very much for all you've done there.
Very kind of you, mate, but I'm sure that club's given me more than I've given it, but very kind of you, Deeks. Thank you very much, and very much enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, it's good, mate. It was good. It's good, normal chat. Didn't have to sort of balk and weave like you're good on the footy field away from doing the interview. So got you there. Finally caught you. First time ever. Good one, mate. All right, mate. Well, we're signing off this week, team. Good on you, Jace. Thanks very much for doing this. And remember, boys, we are the mighty Clubber team. See you, boys.